today to do the wrap-up of the first 5 books that I read in 2016. I saw on a few channels that instead of doing a monthly wrap-up at the end of each month, they're doing that after every 5 books they'll do a wrap-up, which I actually really enjoy because one, you know, there's only going to be 5 books they're going to be talking about. It shouldn't be too long, and it won't necessarily be at the end of the month. I thought this was a great way for me to kind of break up the way I do my videos. So let's get started with the first 5 books that I read in 2016. The first book being Until We Meet Again by Renee Collins. I started reading this book with my husband back in, I think, November of last year. Yes, November, because this book came out in November of last year. And we were reading it out loud together every time we were in the car. I do have to say that once you get past the first probably 2 or 3 chapters and you get actually into the story, the book is really fantastic and just picks up from there. This book is about this girl Cassandra and this boy Lawrence, who they meet for the first time on a private beach, and they don't realize that Cassandra is from the 21st century and Lawrence is from the 1920s. And it is just their story of like wondering how in the world is this happening? Is this really happening? And then you find out that something happens to Lawrence, and it is their journey into solving the mystery and trying to save Lawrence without messing up with time. I thought this was a great story of 2 characters that just fall in love and are not just separated by distance, but separated by time as well, and how they deal with that. And I just thought it was really well done. It was interesting, it was unique and fun. I wouldn't say it was the greatest piece of literature, but it was still really fun, and I would highly recommend this book. If you're looking for a good YA book about time travel and romance, I would highly recommend this book. It definitely did keep me on the edge of my toes, and I thought the ending was brilliant. I thought the ending was so fantastic and so brilliant. So highly recommend Until We Meet Again by Renee Collins. The next book that I read is 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. This is the second book in the Firebird trilogy, the first one being 1,000 Pieces of You. This is a science fiction book about dimension hopping, and I thought this book was a great second book in the series. I love that you get a little bit more character development and a little bit more world development and explanation of how the Firebird works, something that was kind of lacking in the first book. I absolutely love this. I didn't fly through it as quickly as I did the first book. I think partly because the thing that was really driving the plot in this one wasn't necessarily this need for revenge, but more of a love story that really kind of annoyed me. But other than that, I thought it was fantastic. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. If you have not started this series, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for a good YA science fiction story, it's so good, and I cannot wait until the 3rd book in this series. It's a million something and something. I can't remember what. It's a million something. So I absolutely love this series, and as I've said many times, I love the covers. And then book number 3 that I read is The Martian by Andy Weir, and I absolutely love this story. This is a science fiction adult book about this guy who gets left on Mars, and it's his survival story. If you want more of my thoughts, I have a full review. I'll put a link down below, so go check that out if you want more of my thoughts. But other than that, I thought this book was fantastic. It was phenomenal. 5-star, witty, funny, engrossing. Oh my goodness, fantastic. Read the book and then go watch the movie because both are phenomenal. Okay, and then book number 4 is Instruction by Kadee Carter. I also have a full review of that book down below, so go check that out if you want more of my thoughts. But other than that, this is a YA science fiction of the 17-year-old girl who wants more out of life, and so she goes on this crazy adventure with her 3 friends, and they embark on this craziness, and it's fantastic, so wonderful. Highly recommend Insurrection by Kadee Carter, so you should go check out my review and check out Kadee Carter's stuff that I will also put down below. So the last book that I'm going to talk about is book number 5, which is Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 4th book in the Mistborn world, I guess. The first three being the Mistborn trilogy, and then the next series being the Wax and Wayne series. So Alloy of Law catches up to this world 300 years after the end of Hero of Ages, and you get to meet Wax and Wayne, and I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was so fantastic. I buddy read this with Tiffany from the Crafty Home, and it was so fun reading this book. We first decided, okay, we're going to read one chapter a day, because, you know, one chapter a day is about 20 pages. That's not so bad, and I did have a hard time reading Hero of Ages and Well of Ascension. It took me a while to get through those books, and so I was really figuring that was going to be the case with this one. That was not the case. I think we finished this book in like 4 days. It was like, oh, I'm sorry, I ended up reading 5 chapters, so you should catch up. And then so we would catch up, and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I ended up just kept going. I couldn't stop, and so I read 10 more chapters. And so it was so fun reading this, buddy reading this, because neither one of us could really put this book down. It was phenomenal. This is into the Industrial Revolution era, like steampunk type, where they have electricity, they have trains, and they're getting out of the horse and buggy and candlelit stuff. And so I just thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a great use of, great twist and use of Allomancy and Ferochemy, and I absolutely loved the characters. I thought the wit and the banter between Wax and Wayne was just out of this world. I was laughing out loud in so many parts of this story. I thought it was so phenomenal. It had me on the edge of my seat from almost the first page to the end, and I cannot wait to continue on with these books. So if you read the Mistborn trilogy and are wondering if you should keep going, you should, because that was my thing. I was like, I don't know if I want to keep going, because I liked the Mistborn trilogy, but I didn't absolutely love it, and I had a hard time getting through it, and so I really debate on whether I should go on. But I picked it up, and I'm so glad I picked it up, because it was so phenomenal, so phenomenal. So this got a 5 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait to continue with the series. So those are the first 5 books that I read in 2016. Let me know down below some of your thoughts, and again, if you want more of my thoughts on the couple of the books, go check my reviews out. And as always, guys, I hope you're having a great reading month, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye!